some of the sticky coverage that he saw in this past game. Just what have you seen from your group through 3 games now?
Well, I think by and large, we've been able to play a good volume of guys, which is always good to see, and being able to roll guys in and not necessarily see a big drop-off in things. We know we're getting into SEC play, and competition is going to always continue to pick up, and we got to continue to do the things necessary to get ourselves ready to go every single week, improve every single week. But if you told me if we could go backward in time and say, hey, back in January, Coach, we'd be sitting here where we are right now, guys developing, guys playing good, we're mentally engaged, we're playing very aggressive, disciplined, strong football. I would have told you that a lot of guys we would have to do a lot of things right for that to be true. So I think that's what's going on right now. I think we're tying in the rush and the coverage pretty good. We have plenty of things that we need to work on. We're taking this bye week to take advantage of those things. But I love the attitude and the energy and the engagement of the guys. And we got a hungry group that's looking to get better.
And Damani was one of the players of the week against Wisconsin. Just what did you see on film from him?
Well, he just stayed sticky. He stayed sticky. Yeah, he had 3 or 4 targets, gave up no catches, and stayed in the hip pocket. If you look at some of those sacks, our D-line did a great job of rushing, but some of those first and second looks of the quarterback, we were able to discourage and get them off of those first and second looks, give the D-line a little bit more time to get home, and just tying in all the pieces. You know, great pass coverage starts with great rush, and then it starts with, it's all these things that got to be combined at the same time. Great coverage, great rush, tying in where's my coverage support, tying in situations, where's my help, what's my leverage, what kind of technique am I going to use, and so we have a pretty good understanding of all those things, and we got to continue just to develop and grow.
And then on the stat sheet, maybe Damani's not totally showing up with the tackles and all that, but that could be maybe a good thing.
Well, I mean, sometimes a little bit of silent work is good on the outside, just because you're doing your job, and again, we're trying to get him to be as good as he can be and continue to show him. We've taken advantage of this bye week to just show him plays and situations and really spark a lot of conversation. Springtime, you're doing a lot of teaching. Hey, this is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to do it. This is why I want you to do it. And then right now we're at a point where we can have some conversation. Wait, tell me why you did this, and then listen, and tell me why you created this plan on the line of scrimmage, and then listen. So we were able to take advantage of a lot of that in terms of just some one-on-one time and looking at those reps. But he's doing a good job for us on the outside in terms of being able to use his leverage, his length, his speed to stay on top of receivers and cover guys up.
Just the last question on him. When you stepped in here in January, you had him a 5-star kid who was one of the best recruits in the country. So how valuable was that?
I think Damani is a great example right now of a guy that was highly recruited, went through that whole process, knows what it's like to kind of go through all the external things, and now seeing hey, you know what? Let's focus on football. Let's focus on how I can be the best player, the best person, the best student I can be. He'll probably tell you that he has been an awesome addition to our unit. He's been a joy to coach. He works hard. It's important to him. And I think at the end of the day, I think he's having fun doing what he's doing, which is, he's enjoying the process of the work and the grind and trying to go out there and compete on Saturdays. And so you're liking the direction that things are headed for him. Again, we're trying to raise the entire room up, but he's one guy that's certainly taking heed to the coaching.
Xavier started the first 3 games. Just how have you seen him get more comfortable as the season's going on?
Yeah, so 60 reps again on the road against Wisconsin, and held his own on the outside. I think his confidence is continuing to grow. When you're young and you're talented, there's an inner belief because you've been successful in high school, but then there's a gap of, well, I haven't done it at this level yet, so let me go prove that I can do it, and let me go prove to myself that I can go do it. And I think right now the development that's happening with him is there's a little bit of a head nod where he's like, you know what, hey, I can do this. So we sat him down, we had some one-on-ones, and he's watching his movement, he's watching his technique. We're saying, hey, like, create this plan of why you're playing man-to-man here. Talk to me about your zone instincts here. Talk to me about your blitz path and what you're doing here, and just sparking conversation and the conversation can lead to a lot of different things, and then going out here and then putting in the work. So really been pleased with his development right now. I still think he's a young freshman that is growing, that we got to continue to improve his play. We know that we're entering SEC play and all the things that come along with those things, and we're all extremely aware of those things, and he's mentally engaged. I think he'll be prepared for the challenge.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about what you just seen from your position group as a whole with 3 games on tape now?
Yeah, I think through 3 games on tape, the unit on the back end right now, we're seeing that number one, we've been playing a heavy volume of man, and so can we win in man-to-man situations? Right now, we're giving up 3.2 yards per catch. which is number 1 in the nation in terms of 3.2 yards per attempt, which is number 1 in the nation, which is just tells you that at least we're limiting big plays by and large. We're staying over the top of most plays, and we're not letting big plays occur. I think when you look from a zone instinct standpoint, are we having a lot of yards after catch? When we are in those zone situations and they do dump the ball down or they do push it out to the flat, are we able to control the yards after the catch? And I think we've been able to limit those things. So I think there's a lot of good things on tape. We've had some penalties that we got to clean up. We got a couple times where we haven't been on the top shoulder. We got to clean those things up. A couple missed tackles from a couple guys that we got to clean up. So we are being as critical on ourselves as humanly possible, but also not diminishing in the positives that have been out there on the football field. So it's a work in progress. We're going to continue to push these guys. The best thing right now that's happening, I feel like, is there's a lot of trust that's being developed where you're telling guys how and why to do certain things. You're having good, healthy conversation. You're able to take in their feedback and why would you create this plan and why would you do these things? And then so it grows. It grows. The game plan can develop. So, everybody in America plays man, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it, and it's why you do it. And it's understanding your coverage support, the down and distance, your field position, your matchup in terms of how you're covering a certain guy. So I think some of those things are coming to life for the guys.
I think most people would say that Carson Beck's at a different level than the quarterbacks you faced this season. Just how prepared what have you seen from him, and how prepared do you think your secondary is?
Yeah, well, Carson right now is 70% completion percentage. He's 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He does a great job. They do a phenomenal job with him in terms of just making sure that it's ABC 1, 2, 3. They get him on the first look if it's open. He takes the grass. They stay in favorable down and distance situations, which doesn't, it takes pressure off of their O-line, and it takes pressure off of him having to make hard, tough decisions when they're not out there in 3rd and 12 and 3rd and 14 and 3rd and 10. So I think from a program standpoint, they've done a phenomenal job of developing the quarterback spot. They tie in a lot of pieces around him. They protect him. They got playmakers around him. They use the running backs well in the throw game. So they know exactly what they're doing. They have a very clear plan and a very clear attack. So we're going to have to be at our best. We're going to have to continue to improve. We're going to have to be at our best to go out there and have a successful Saturday.
Coach, when you look at the film of UGA's receivers, what sticks out to you so far, and how do you formulate a plan for your DBs?
Well, not giving away the game plan, but they have athletic guys. There are a lot of guys with 21 points on the GPS in terms of they can run. I think that's the first thing you notice. They got explosive guys on the outside. The slot receiver's a playmaker. They got receivers on the outside that can make contested catches. They can also make over-the-shoulder catches. They can make the challenging across-the-middle catches. They present a heavy volume of throw game. They can do it all. They can attack you horizontally. They can attack you vertically down the field. They have the short and intermediate game. They have the play pass. They have 3-step. They have RPO. You have a clean drop-back progression game. So there's not too many things that they don't do. They give you a lot of personnel groupings. They line up in all formations out of those personnel groupings. So it certainly is a challenge just from a schematic standpoint, from a volume standpoint, and then from a personnel standpoint because they have playmakers. So we're very aware of how good they are. It's a good football team. It's a really good football team, and we're and the best thing about it is they have our full undivided attention. And what we got to do is we got to keep it about us. We got to keep it about who we are and what we're going to do and how we're going to go out there and battle and challenge every single throw and get ourselves in position to go make plays.
We haven't heard Damani Jackson's name a lot since the season started. Is that a good thing? And what have you seen from him, just kind of keeping things quiet on his side?
Yeah, I think sometimes you can hear a guy's name a lot and because he's on the wrong end of things. And I think sometimes when you're having some silent games a little bit, you're getting, if you look at a couple sacks and a couple hits on the quarterback last week, well, a lot of those were caused, number one, with a great pass rush, but the quarterback was on his first look and the guy wasn't open. He was on his second look and the guy wasn't open. And then that just buys enough time for that D lineman to get that 6th or 7th or 8th step to get home. So I think as a team, from Coach Womack all the way down, that we're tying in the rush and the coverage very well, and Damani's doing his job. He's covering guys up. He's playing on the upfield shoulder of the vertical passing game. He's challenging the short throw game, and he's doing what we're asking him to do right now. So we know that the play is going to continue to pick up. We're playing a very, very, very good SEC football team coming into our building. So we got to continue to raise our level of play. We got to continue to not have our bad plays be that bad where they really hurt us, and then continue to push our plays, our playmaking ability up. So been pleased what he's been doing right now. We got to continue to grow and continue to get better.
It seems like the offense isn't giving you guys much time for a rest on the sideline. I'm curious, in terms of just, continuing to keep guys, athletic, just make sure like stamina's up? How have you guys got?
Well, I
guess
think,
it was, like, over
sure. You talk about the rest. I think it's twofold. Sometimes you
Yeah.
don't get rest because it's a 3 and out,
Yeah.
and then sometimes you're not getting rest because they're big plays. So we've been having a lot of big plays, which which creates that energy and juice for the guys. And I think one thing we've been able to do is play a heavy volume of guys, and you're seeing a little bit of our depth grow where we've played 6 different corners. Really 4 or 5 with significant reps with Deshaun Jones and Mbakwe getting in early rotations, and then Zabin and Damani taking a healthy chunk of reps. So we know that you're going to have development of guys and depth of your roster all the way through. Offense has been doing a phenomenal job, and I think everybody feeds off of each other. I think when Ryan scored that slot fade, the entire defense stood up and just brought that jolt of life and energy to the entire sideline. So I think everybody bounces off with each other really well. It's not about any one individual or any one unit. It's about the team, and I think the team has been doing a phenomenal job supporting each other.
Was that something you considered at the beginning of the season, that it was going to be such an explosive offense that you needed to have a lot of rotation at the cornerback?
Well, I think 2 things. We have explosive guys, and I think if you're looking to play a long season and a lot of football into now what is December and all the way into January, 3rd week of January, we know that I think it wouldn't be smart for us. 1, we have really good football players, but 2, how do we kind of peek around the corner, have some foresight, and kind of reverse engineer this whole thing in terms of how we got to begin with the end in mind and know that we're going to need multiple guys to play a lot of reps in a championship type run season that we would like to have. When I was in Dallas in 2020 with Mike McCarthy, he taught me this in terms of that Super Bowl run that he made. And he talked about, the NFL roster is a 53-man roster, 47 dress, but he said you would be surprised how many different guys that were actually dressing on a week in, a week out basis, and how many guys you kind of churn through. It's a violent game. It's a physical game. So we know we're going to have depth. We're going to have guys ready. And you can't just have a guy not play in 8 weeks and then all of a sudden count on that guy to go in there and win a game for you. So we don't know who's going to be the guy at what time that we're going to need, that's going to be making that one player have that one series or play that one game that's going to help us win a championship, hopefully. So we got to continue to prepare guys and get guys ready. So you're seeing a lot of volume of guys play and really play well and do their job.
Coach, can I take you back just a little bit to what you thought when you heard that Nick Saban had retired, and then your opportunity to come here?
I'm a football enthusiast at heart, and just knowing the impact that Coach Saban has had on the game of football in and of itself. Football gave me an opportunity growing up in Dallas, Texas to, I won a state championship in high school and then got my education at Baylor University. I love the game of football. I want to give back to football. I'm a fan of all the football legends that are out there. Nick Saban is certainly one of them. And so I was the head coach at University of Buffalo. I remember when I saw the ESPN ticker seeing that he retired, did not probably have the foresight of how many coaches and lives were going to get impacted because of that one announcement and the ripple effect that it causes, kind of like that butterfly effect. And certainly always been an admirer of all the success that this program has had all the way back through the years, and then obviously the success that Coach Saban has had being here, was it 17 years? So, hopefully I'm not wrong on that, I think 17 years. So just, we know the impact that he's had just on so many people's lives. We think about the championships, you think about the wins, but really sometimes you don't see the generations and the generations that change because this one guy got a degree and maybe he was a first-year college student like I was in my family, and going to college changed my life. I met my wife in college. I got my undergrad and master's at Baylor University, and I'm thankful for the game of football. There's absolutely nothing more that I would really love to do than what I'm doing right now, coaching these young men, and just didn't have the foresight that his retirement was going to bring us here to Tuscaloosa.
All good.